almost ready to go on Newcastle United's final league fixture at Goodison Park. Dwight McNeil rolls it back to Jordan Pickford, and we are underway. Newcastle shooting towards the goal to our left-hand side. That's the Gladys Street end. And it's a throw for Everton, far side of the pitch, just where the United away section begins. Looking for a second victory on the road this season, and hopefully a good performance akin to last week. Garner, the midfielder at right back, up the line to Harrison, and they've lost it, Everton, and Hall's ball up the line is intercepted by Doucouré. Newcastle get it back, then Hall passes it straight to Calvert-Lewin, and it's away from Ndiaye, edge of the area, but he's got it at the second attempt. Mangala now to Young, a deflected cross from Ashley Young. Sandro Tonali makes the tackle. Jacob Murphy back to Kieran Trippier, and then Bruno onto Tonali, who lifts it over the head of Keane and is taken down. Free kick, Newcastle, after a minute, and no further punishment, despite Newcastle appeals for a yellow card. It's just behind the halfway line on the right.
Yeah, I mean, Hall gave it away in a bad area. Everton couldn't make the most of it. A little ball over the top, coming together, but no more than that.
Anthony Gordon is a long way offside in the middle. As Kieran Trippier clips the free kick towards the edge of the box. Dan Burn tries to head on, he doesn't get there. Then Tonali with a header. Harrison for Everton pushes it away. Bruno nods forwards, up to Ndiaye, could be handball, it's come to Trippier anyway. And now Bruno drops in to the right of the centre circle, across to another Newcastle player. It's Hall who puts his foot on it, passes it back to Cher. And Hall again, up the line into the left forward position, but Barnes had dropped in deep and Joe Linton had come inside. Everton give it back to Pickford. Now Tarkowski under pressure from Gordon, has to turn, and Gordon with the pressing and the sprinting between defenders. He did so much of it last week. Pickford gets it away, and Trippier fouls Ndiaye on the halfway line. 0-0.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that one. He just had his arms wrapped around his middle.
It's Jason Tindall who's in the technical area for Newcastle, lining up the players as he does so often for set-piece situations they are defending. The free kick is on the halfway line.
Pickford's coming a long way to take it, isn't he?
Yeah. Get this wrong, and it's a long way back for Pickford. The Newcastle line is 10 yards up from the penalty area. Now they drop as the ball goes into the box. Byrne and Keane go for the header. Pope comes and punches 6 yards out. Harrison on the edge of the area. Block challenge from Hall. Then Hall gets away from Keane. Everton want to throw, but Newcastle get the decision.
Referee wasn't making it, was he?
Yeah, might have gone either way, that one. And now it's Doucouré up the line to Harrison. Neat footwork from Harrison, cuts inside from the right touchline. Mangala to Doucouré. And Keane in the centre circle. No goals yet on BBC Radio Newcastle. Everton play it back to Pickford. Not the best ball by Captain Tarkowski. They're missing Seamus Coleman as well, Everton, who is the club captain, the full-back. And Pickford's long ball off the outside of his left boot. Throw for Newcastle in the right full-back position for Kieran Trippier to take. Murphy up the line, Tonali coming closer. And already the chanting in the direction of Jordan Pickford has started from the away fans. Murphy, good play by Jacob Murphy across midfield, and Joe Linton up to Barnes in the final third now. United, nobody in the box though. Barnes on the outside of Garner, deflected cross. Murphy in the middle trying to get there. Everton hook it clear. Lewis Hall 20 yards out to Barnes, who is taking on Garner again. Finds Joe Linton, a layoff to Hall, and Bruno, man at his back. It's McNeil. Bruno turns, passes it to Tonali. Good feet by Tonali. Now Hall up up the line again to Tonali, inside to Joelinton. That's good. They make their way out of a tight spot. Bruno looking for Trippier on the corner of the area. Inside from Trippier, away from Tarkowski at the edge of the Everton box. Still Newcastle in possession in the attacking half. Murphy, Tonali, now Trippier. One-touch stuff. 0-0. Trippier looking for Murphy. It's intercepted. And Njai back to Young. And they got into some positions of promise there, Newcastle, but couldn't find a way through. And Njai on the outside of Trippier into Newcastle's half, back into midfield to Mangala. And we've played 5.5 minutes. And it's 0-0. That's the first we've seen of Newcastle on the attack, isn't it, John?
Yeah, it's been an interesting 5 minutes, hasn't it?
Byrne and Hall with headers clear. Garner beats Barnes in the air. 35 yards out, but Everton looking to go on the attack. Dan Byrne clears across into the centre circle, and Keane with a header, might be a bit short. Pickford comes and gets there before Gordon. About 10 yards outside the area. It gave Gordon a sniff, but Everton defend it, and now into the box from Harrison. Bruno covering, and the skipper comes away with it, clears it. Tonali in the D has to help it on, only as far as Doucouré. Laid off by Jack Harrison to the Everton number 37, James Garner, former Manchester United and Nottingham Forest player, looking for Calvert-Lewin, left side of the area, from a ball from left back. Calvert-Lewin to McNeil, turns away, finds Young. There's an offside flag up.
How late was that flag, by the way? Calvert-Lewin looked offside when the ball was played in, but it took the linesman an eternity to put his flag up.
Just leave it, don't they? Calvert-Lewin was just about, might have been played on by Hall on the near side, but didn't lead to anything for Everton. 0-0. And Dan Byrne to the right-hand side to Fabian Schär, up towards Trippier, 10 yards behind halfway, given away by Trippier to Mangala, who has been under pressure from Gordon. Newcastle adamant it should be their throw, but it goes the way of Everton, and now there's a problem because there's
two balls on the pitch. Don't know why Young's having to go at the referee. It's not his fault.
They throw it back to Michael Keane, who was dropped last weekend when Everton got their first win. Back in today. Trippier defending, high boot maybe. Referee says no. Calvert-Lewin across goal.
And now he gives a free kick. Again, how late is that?
I'm not sure there was much contact, if any, from Calvert-Lewin. Trippier was stooping, boot went up. Referee let it go. Pope came out. Calvert-Lewin stabbed it across the face of goal. Then the whistle went.
Yeah. It's either a free kick or it's not. Delayed reactions.
Hall, long ball forwards. Gordon gets his boot to it and on for Barnes. They could be in. Harvey Barnes in the penalty area, off Tarkowski, and it's going to be
corner kick.
A corner on the near side for Newcastle United. Good touch by Gordon. Barnes was wide and there were plenty of blue shirts back, but they get something from it, and Kieran Trippier's on his way across to take the corner.
All the big boys going forward. You've got Joelinton in there, Dan Burns getting in there, Schär's making his way forward. There's plenty of height in there.
In the 10th minute, looking for an opening goal. Pickford hasn't had a save to make yet, and neither has Pope at the other end. Murphy at the back of the D. Joelinton needs the penalty spot. Bruno completely free in the middle of the box. Trippier sends in the corner. Tonali tries to flick it on, and Bruno! Oh, it's trickled along the line and gone out for another corner kick. Bruno off a deflection. Pickford might have made a save as well. It rolled along towards the far post and in front of the line and behind.
Yet again, nobody's picking him up.
Yeah.
They've just seen what he's done.
They've left him again.
And nobody's picking him up again.
Bruno's the spare man. Trippier with the second corner. Pickford punches, Murphy retrieves, middle of the Everton half. So close to going in front, back in from Murphy, and caught by Pickford. And the ball from Murphy into the middle favoured the goalkeeper. And it remains goalless. And they're singing that rude song about him again, the Newcastle fans. Pickford, I think he did save the first shot, and it might have touched a teammate on its way across the goal. Don't think it hit the post. But why would they leave Bruno free for the second time?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't learn, did they?
Everton throw up the line from halfway. Hall with the header, Barnes into Bruno. Gets it caught under his bright red boots. Finds Cher. And now Hall. Back to Byrne, taking their time, Newcastle, over these passes along the back. It's 0-0 already today on BBC Radio Newcastle. We brought you commentary from the National League. Gateshead 1, Wealdstone 0. Gateshead no manager after Rob Elliott, formerly of Newcastle, went to Crawley in League One, but they are third in the National League, having a great season. And some reaction to that one coming up at half-time here at Everton. Bruno in midfield, back to Cher. Decent possession for Newcastle. Not really going anywhere with it, but letting the ball do the work, letting Everton players do the work and chasing it. Gordon drops in, surrounded by blue shirts. Back to Trippier, Murphy to Cher. Eddie Howe stands with his hands behind his back as he watches Cher go on the diagonal, and it might come for Barnes. There's no offside flag. Now there is. But Barnes knew he was offside, so didn't really go for the ball, and then kind of felt obliged to. And as soon as he did, up came the flag.
Yeah, the linesman's arm was going. Kept. Shall I? Yes, I will.
I don't know if it was from it must have been from Joe Linton's header on, if he got the touch rather than the Cher ball. This is Trippier inside, Murphy header on by Doucouré, stabbed back by Murphy, good touch, important intervention, back to Trippier, and Cher along the edge of Newcastle's penalty area to a big Dan Byrne, back to him from Hall. Tonali, 7th Premier League start of his Newcastle career. Hall up the left wing, but it goes out. Wanted Barnes to come closer to him. Haven't really had the chance yet to run it. Garner and Young at full-back. Barnes has had a moment when he was taking on players, and then they did win the corner as well, but I want to see them attack the Everton full-backs. Newcastle throw next to the halfway line on this near side on BBC Radio Newcastle, BBC Sounds, and NUFC TV. Hall looking for another white and green shirt. It's Gordon, and he's clipped by Mangala, and it's a clear foul, and he did well, Gordon. It was clever play. Free kick on the left, just inside Everton territory. Bruno quickly to Tonali along the floor, and then curled over to Trippier, on for Murphy, and back to Trippier. Murphy then goes forwards. Ball goes backwards from Newcastle to Fabian Cher, whose goal against Wimbledon was the 17th of his Newcastle career in just over 5 years. Not bad for a defender. Second of the season. Gordon also has 2. Barnes, the top scorer, currently with 3. Cher now up the line for Trippier. This could be decent, but he's giving it away to Young. Went for a first time angled ball towards Murphy. Now Everton, Calvert-Lewin trying to run at Dan Byrne, just outside the area. Calvert-Lewin, low shot, spilled by Pope, gathered at the second attempt.
Too easy though. Got in behind, Cher let him run. thankfully he took the shot early straight into the midriff of Pope. Comfortable save.
Even though he just sort of patted it down in front of him, Nick Pope, it was a comfortable stop, but just a ball, quick one, whipped, curled up the line.
Yeah.
And it's the second time they've done that, because Calvert-Lewin got in earlier, but then the flag came up, didn't it? The first time. Now Doucouré, the latest Everton midfielder to chop down Anthony Gordon. And he is awarded a free kick. Craig Pawson, not popular. No further action. Cher to Byrne, near to the centre spot. Back to Cher, right side. Gordon making a run along the Everton back line through the middle. Trippier to Cher. On halfway again, 0-0. And Cher starts to carry it forward. Tonali's made an interesting run, but they go to Joelinton on the left. Now Bruno sweeps it back over to the near side to Barnes. Hall on the overlap into Joelinton. Finds Hall. Chance to cross. He does. Jacob Murphy. Oh, it's got away from him. Trippier's kept it alive in the area. Murphy again. Murphy goes for the bottom corner, but it's straight at Pickford.
First one was a chance. Just took his eye off it, didn't he? Stood all alone.
Jacob Murphy saw it skim off his studs. Hall's cross found him. It's a decent ball.
Was a good ball in.
Off the underside of his left boot. Then he got it back from Trippier. Had a yard of space, but didn't have a good enough angle on the shot. Byrne and then Bruno with backward headers to find Nick Pope. And rolled out by the goalkeeper to Byrne and Hall. Good to see him involved in that attack, Lewis Hall. Lloyd Kelly started at left back against Wimbledon, moved into centre half. Lewis Hall in at left back today. Maybe Tonali just gives the ball away on the near side. McNeil's got it for Everton. Maybe they will be going. Bruno diverts it back with a header to Nick Pope. Be going with Lewis Hall now at left back.
Yeah,
he won't want to keep chopping and changing.
No, he's got to make a decision. He's got to decide on who his two full-backs are.
Murphy back to Trippier. Cher across the edge of the United box to Byrne. Now Hall up to Barnes, holds it up. James Garner gets a boot in. Tonali makes a block. Harrison though finds Doucouré. Calvert-Lewin back to goal, brings it into midfield and then around the corner for Garner. Good shape on the cross, header into the top corner. Abdoulaye Doucouré ghosted in from midfield and has nodded Everton into the lead in the 18th minute. Everton 1, Newcastle United 0.
You've got to ask where your two centre-backs are. It's a decent ball played in, but he's just got in. Two centre-backs are absolutely nowhere.
It's a great ball in by Garner. Lovely shape on the cross after it was laid off to him by Calvert-Lewin. We talked about a midfielder being... Oh, he's offside. He's offside.
Oh, unlucky.
He's offside. Looks like he's offside. Yeah, don't think this is going to count. VAR just confirming. We talked about Garner being a midfielder at full-back with the defensive side of things. Brilliant quality on the cross, but it looks very much like Doucouré's offside when the ball was released.
Even though he's offside, you've still got to ask where your centre-backs are.
It's disallowed. It doesn't count. It's back to 0-0. Everton 0, Newcastle United 0. And... well, thank goodness for VAR and Chris Kavanagh confirming.
I always said VAR was good.
Yeah. The assistant referee kept the flag down. I mean, I think it's his arm and his shoulder that's offside, being ahead of the last defender. But that's a let-off for Newcastle United, no question about it. 0-0 again, though. Hall gets away from Harrison. Now Gordon, they might have space. Barnes making the run. Gordon's ball just got away from Barnes, and Young sticks it into the stand. It's a throw on the near side, 30 yards out, taken by Joelinton. The ball from Gordon had been into the path of Barnes, into where he was running. He would have been through. Murphy to Trippier, on to Murphy again, that's a good ball, Tonali up the line, Murphy beats 2 Everton players in midfield, still has it Jacob Murphy, laid off to Bruno, square to Hall, next to the centre circle, wide to Barnes, here they go Newcastle, Joelinton ahead of him, Barnes carrying it, under pressure, finds Joelinton, Gordon in the box, lovely shift from Gordon, he gets away, Anthony Gordon tries to pick somebody out, and it's Mangala back to Pickford. Just hit him though.
Great turn.
Oral Mangala, and Pickford picked it up, but brilliant from Gordon.
Yeah, great turn by Gordon. Brilliant. Good little ball played in as well. Everton got lucky.
It's back in play. Rolled out to Tarkowski. Calvert-Lewin tries to lay it off. Joelinton gets there. Communicates with Bruno. Back to Shea, looking for Barnes. Garner's come to challenge for it, wins it, and inside to Doucouré. Clips it to the far side, but it's away from Njai and Trippier, and it's a Newcastle throw. When the Everton goal was disallowed by VAR, the away fans enjoyed that moment on the far side, giving some stick back to the Everton supporters. Thought they'd taken the lead through Doucouré's header. Gordon, lovely flick to Bruno, takes out 2 Everton midfielders. They can go to the right-hand side, Newcastle. Joelinton to Bruno. Bruno's ball is straight to Young. Needed to be quality from Bruno. Everton intercept. Newcastle have it back. Been some nearly moments so far today. 22 minutes played. Barnes and Garner collide. Referee says Newcastle can play on. Garner is down. Barnes gets back up. Harvey Barnes has then lost it in midfield. Has a tug at Dwight McNeil. Now the referee stops it. Did Barnes foul Garner? Did Garner foul Barnes? Was there nothing?
Well, there was obviously nothing because the referee didn't give it.
Barnes was backing into him. I don't know if he was being pulled by Garner. I'm not quite sure what's happened to the Everton midfielder, but at full-back today, he's taken a blow around the chin or something, the cheek.
Might be winded, you know. Might have got a little, might have ran into his elbow.
Well, Everton are getting some treatment for James Garner as Newcastle players come across for a water bottle. Eddie Howe's talking to Sandro Tonali in particular, and Anthony Gordon and Harvey Barnes are listening in. It's 0-0 on BBC Radio Newcastle. We are at 23 minutes at Goodison Park. Some of what you've watched so far, John Anderson.
It's been very tight, very scrappy. Both sides have had their moments, obviously. Everton have had that goal disallowed. Rightly so, he was offside. But yeah, there's not a lot in it, is there?
Just had a look at the Bruno chance. I'm not sure whether Pickford gets anything on it, but it's Njai. He's standing on the goal line, facing forwards. It's hit the inside of the back of his left foot, rolled along the goal line in front of the post and gone behind. So they've got a bit lucky, but Newcastle, one or two other moments. Everton with one ruled out. It's a free kick for Everton because Barnes pulled McNeil back.
What? It wasn't there.
Garner's going to come back on. Free kick's about to be taken by Pickford. Dan Burn goes for the header. It's gone out. It's Newcastle's throw. Nobody touched it. Sean Dyche, the Everton manager, reportedly under a bit of pressure if their takeover goes through. An American group looking to buy a majority stake. It's been agreed. He's appealing to throw and then free kick in midfield. They get nothing. He wants Garner back on as well. He's losing his temper, Dyche, as Bruno and Tonali win it back for Newcastle in the middle of the park. Now Garner comes on 11 v 11 again on BBC Radio Newcastle, 0-0. Trippier inside to share.
How long did he leave Garner off?
You've got to go for at least 30 seconds.
Yeah, but that was longer than 30 seconds.
Share and Tonali clips one forward. Nobody there in Newcastle white and green. Picked up by goalkeeper Pickford. Tarkowski comes forwards with it, unopposed, towards halfway, lifted in behind. It's a good ball for Calvert-Lewin, down on his chest, away from Hall, and now McNeil on this near side. He's drifted out to the right, McNeil. He started playing behind Calvert-Lewin. Harrison on the right wing to Garner, and now Tarkowski on halfway. Another ball clipped in behind, looking for the run of McNeil, but Lewis Hall gets his body in the way and helps to see the ball back to Nick Pope.
Yeah, he's not the quickest, is he, McNeil? Good technician, but not going to run away from you.
He's still only 24, Dwight McNeil.
Seems like he's been around a long time, doesn't he?
Came into Burnley's team as a teenager. He's got 3 goals this season, Dwight McNeil. Lewis Hall forwards to Harvey Barnes, who also has 3 goals, as we mentioned earlier. They came in 3 games in a row. Hall back to Byrne, hammers it across the Newcastle penalty box to Fabian Schär, onto Trippier. Bruno plays it first time, long ball forwards. Tonali backing into Keane, wins it. Now Murphy for Gordon to take on Tarkowski into the area. Anthony Gordon still going. Gordon rolling it back, but a sliding Garner manages to get it clear, and a header on from Njai, and McNeil. Everton can break, but Newcastle have the numerical advantage. McNeil to Njai, right hand side, into the penalty area, back to McNeil. A layoff now to Mangala. They want him to hit it. It's blocked. It hit Njai, his own man actually, and Lewis Hall finds Harvey Barnes up to Anthony Gordon, laid off to Murphy, under pressure, back to Schär, and Scher's forward ball deflected by Everton straight to Doucouré, and the home team have possession again. Newcastle needed just to be sharper and take more care with the pass.
Been sloppy, haven't we?
McNeil in a pocket of space, given away to Bruno. They've had some good moments, Newcastle, but they've also been some sloppiness. Inside to Tonali, centre of midfield, over to Trippier. It's only Gordon and Murphy in the Everton half. It's with Bruno now, 0-0, and the pass to Hall. Gordon threatening to get away. Hall straight onto the head of Garner. Hall then wins it back, but only as far as Doucouré, and now Harrison to attack the right wing. Garner up ahead of him. Harrison comes inside, Hall makes a block, and then another one on Doucouré's pass, but it comes to Tarkowski just inside Newcastle's half, and Mangala now to Young. In the centre circle, Everton, 29 minutes played. Tarkowski on the diagonal, Calvert-Lewin doesn't get there, Nick Pope comes and claims.
Both sides have been sloppy on the ball, giving it away cheaply.
Dan Burn strolling forwards into the middle of Newcastle United territory. Short ball, 5 yards to Joelinton, straight back to Burn. Hall available to the near side. They give it to Lewis Hall. Rather than going up the line, he turns and it's back with the big man. Now going backwards with it. Tonali giving him an angle just ahead of him in midfield. Straight up it goes to Bruno. Now Schär and Trippier. Bit of space on the far touchline. Tonali on the move trying to get it, but it's back to Schär. Newcastle still in possession though, as they approach the halfway line. No goals yet. Schär, diagonal ball, the space for Barnes, plenty of it, and he's dropped it onto the right boot of Harvey Barnes, now into the penalty area. Barnes on the outside, hangs it up to the far post. Nobody was there apart from Ashley Young, who heads it behind. Lovely dink by Barnes. Just needed somebody in a Newcastle shirt to get there, and they would have been able to knot it in.
Yeah, decent little ball hung up back post. Nobody coming in, back stick.
They have another corner, first one of the match, third of the game, first one on the far side, the Newcastle United right. Gordon and Murphy stand on the edge of the area. Everybody back for Everton. Hall near halfway. Trippier to Murphy, right corner of the box, back to Trippier. Murphy again. Left-footed shot from Murphy, went for the top corner. It didn't dip in time.
Wasn't close, was it?
Tonali's gone down in the box, and the physio is required, is he? No. Tonali's picked himself up. Referee Craig Pawson is having a word with him. What happened with Tonali? Was he being pulled? Was he? Yeah. Oh, look at that from Tarkowski. He's had a good. Just yanked at his shirt, dragged him down. Look at that. You can't do things like that. VAR are having a look at this, are they? Referee's telling Everton to wait. Could Newcastle be given a penalty? Craig Pawson says Jordan Pickford wait. Well, I mean, he's clearly telling Pickford to wait. Pickford's just booted the ball up the pitch. Chris Kavanagh, the VAR, they're having a good look at this. The way that Tonali was pulled down, and we've been shown on the giant screens at Goodison Park, checking for a possible penalty for Newcastle United for the pull by Tarkowski, was it, on Tonali? What do you think, John Anderson? Could they get this?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
We were driving down to Everton earlier.
That's a penalty.
And there was something like that in the Crystal Palace-Liverpool match, wasn't there?
That's a penalty.
It wasn't given. Tonali dragged to the floor, maybe sitting down and staying down. Referee's gone to look at the screen.
Penalty.
Craig Pawson, referee,
you know it's coming.
Sent to the monitor on the far side to have a look at this. VAR Chris Kavanagh.
What's Tarkowski thinking of? He's brain dead.
Maybe Tonali alerted the referee to it by staying down, because we didn't see it in real time. It was Murphy's shot that was off target, but you know the player can't go for the ball when they are pulled down like that. So
yeah, it's a penalty.
Craig Pawson having a look, communicating with the VAR room. It's around the penalty spot. I mean, it's a wrestling move, isn't it? From Tarkowski. It's giving him a right.
Oh, how long does it take?
Throw.
Come on, make dear, oh dear.
James Tarkowski talking to Jordan Pickford, complaining to the fourth official as well. Craig Pawson still looks. It's 0-0 at Goodison Park. Referee says penalty. VAR review, and Newcastle United, for the third match in a row, have been awarded a penalty kick. Craig Pawson, for the foul by Tarkowski on Tonali, awards the penalty. Sean Dyche can't believe it.
Tarkowski's, it's ridiculous.
But how's this for a big moment? Anthony Gordon, back at Goodison Park, has a penalty to take against his former club in front of Everton fans behind the goal. Gordon stands near the D with the ball in his hand. Kieran Trippier and Joelinton are trying to push Ashley Young away from Gordon. He's trying to get inside his head. Gordon, as he said after the Manchester City match, just trying to disappear into his own world for his own penalty process that he's worked on. Ashley Young sent away by the referee, and now Anthony Gordon. Unpopular on Merseyside. Knows that this is huge. Jordan Pickford makes his way back onto his line. With no Alexander Isak and no Callum Wilson, Gordon is Newcastle's penalty taker. He put one into the bottom corner against Manchester City. What will he do on his return to Goodison Park against his old club from 12 yards? Gordon faces Jordan Pickford from the penalty spot. In the 35th minute, Anthony Gordon, it's safe! Pickford dives down to his left and makes the save, and it's still 0-0.
Not too sure why they allowed him to take it, you know.
Pickford got across, got low, he's hurt himself, Pickford. Might need a moment before the match resumes with a Newcastle corner on the far side. It wasn't quite in the corner, it was the opposite side to the one he went for last week.
Yeah, it wasn't a great penalty, was it? Looked like he got caught in two minds.
Well, let's hope that doesn't affect Gordon for the rest of the match. Here's the corner, Hall to the near post, behind by Calvert-Lewin. Another Newcastle corner. A chance to go in front. Wasted. But they stay on the attack. Hall with the second corner into the 6-yard box, headed up by Everton, headed away by Tarkowski. Murphy with a touch, Hall's given it straight to Harrison, up the line to Doucouré, and Gordon back to Pope. Well, that's really got the Everton fans pumped up even more and more involved in the game. Their teams had a goal disallowed after VAR spotted an offside. VAR then intervened and gave Newcastle a penalty, but Anthony Gordon couldn't convert. Jordan Pickford saved it.
Yeah, he looked like he got caught in two minds, Gordon. Sort of stuttered on the way up to it, didn't he? Didn't really get his foot through it.
Dan Burn with the ball, approaching the centre circle, up to Gordon, gets away from Doucouré, and then gets fouled by Doucouré, having initially given him the slip. Bruno along the floor, out to Trippier. Murphy wanted it whipped in behind. They found Tonali. Now Trippier again on the far touchline. Gordon slips in the middle. Newcastle still have the ball through Kieran Trippier. Fabian Schär to Burn, and now Hall for Barnes. And on halfway, Barnes back to Hall, and Burn into the box to Pope. Calvert-Lewin chasing. Schär's got it in space. It's still 0-0. And now Fabian Schär with one of those crossfield balls for Joelinton. Could roll in Barnes. Oh, it's behind him. It's behind Barnes and away out to the touchline. They found Hall, and Joelinton again to the feet of Barnes this time. No offside. Cuts in. Harvey Barnes dinks it through. Hall in the area. Now Anthony Gordon. Oh, goes away from one defender, but then the ball is cleared. Trippier with a foul on Njai on the edge of the box. Gordon got away from Keane, but not Tarkowski, who was able to thump it away, and then Njai.
Yeah, good skill again, Trippier. Wasn't it? Great little turn again. Just got crowded over by blue shorts.
England's number one is the chant. From the Everton fans. The VAR explanation, the on-field review, they said it was a non-footballing action by Tarkowski, which it certainly was.
Well, they usually are, aren't they?
Long ball at the pitch by the home team, headed on by Schär and away by Murphy. Into the corner towards Calvert-Lewin. Trippier's got there though, and cleared it only as far as Njai, 20 yards out. The Senegalese international. Everton into the box from Young, and Nick Pope lets it run behind. What sort of response in terms of the mental side of the game does Anthony Gordon need to produce?
Needs to get it out of his head. Needs to forget about it. Just needs to forget about it. It happens. We've all seen penalties missed.
Trippier to Tonali, looking for Murphy. It's taken a touch off Young, and Joelinton 10 yards outside the box brings it down. Joelinton carries it out to the right. There was an option quickly to the left. They go to the other side. Tonali keeping possession and finding Gordon. Slips away from Doucouré. Hall now on to Barnes, who's always available on this near side. Up against Garner, on towards Hall. Garner's got a touch, it's a corner from the sliding tackle.
You can see Garner's not comfortable at right back, can't you?
That's why I said before the match that I know Barnes has to play out there with Gordon in the centre, but I'd love to see Gordon run at him. Maybe even Joe Willock later in the game. Trippier to take the corner, right-footed from the left. Here it comes. Into the 6-yard box, punched by Pickford, out as far as Murphy. Gordon, left corner of the area. Threatening to take on defenders, sends in a good ball towards Byrne. Joe Linton on the volley. And that's almost into the top tier of the stand behind the goal.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty, was it?
41 minutes played. What's the overall performance been like, do you think, either side of the penalty and the Everton disallowed goal?
It's been scrappy, hasn't it? As you mentioned in commentary there's been some good and some bad.
Tonali in midfield, holds it up, tries to roll away and gets fouled by Mangala. They've had more of it in midfield, Newcastle. Although Doucouré did get forwards from midfield and score, though he was offside. This is Byrne now for Bruno. Kieran Trippier looking for Gordon on the diagonal. Keane's header. Jacob Murphy's onto that on his chest. 30 yards out. A ball between Joe Linton and Barnes from Murphy. And then forwards from Garner. Got a bit lucky. McNeil being pulled by Byrne. Well.
Yeah, never a free kick. He didn't have the legs to get there anyway, McNeil.
Lewis Hall covering, gets it for Newcastle. Gordon fouled by Tarkowski. By Keane, rather.
Hey, I tell you what, that's not a free kick either.
Bruno to Joe Linton in the centre circle. It's BBC Radio Newcastle, no goals, but there's been drama. Tonali. Gordon's free in the centre circle. Passes it to the right. Bruno slips it out to the far touchline to Murphy, and Trippier on towards Gordon. Across comes Keane, and it's a throw. Anthony Gordon, penalty saved. His return to Everton. Newcastle throw about in line with the edge of the box on the far side. Trippier back into midfield for Bruno, who tries to get away from McNeil, who's all over him. Bruno wins the battle physically and then is taken down by McNeil, who's going to get a yellow card. And that's what the Everton fans think of that. I mean, can there be any complaints over that?
Don't think so. Yeah.
There's some that they've got legitimate complaints about, but not that one. Free kick in the Everton half, right of centre, getting on for 40 yards from the goal as we approach the final minute of the opening 45.
There'll be a bit to play, won't there?
Should be at least another 5.
Yeah.
Kieran Trippier into the box looking for Dan Byrne. Headed down by Byrne and blocked by Tarkowski. Sidestep Joe Linton. Good skill in the box. Clearance reaches Lewis Hall just in front of the halfway line. Back inside to Cher. Newcastle still with possession. Cher looking for Byrne over the top. No offside. Keane's header away. Now Ashley Young into the stand on the far side. Now the flag's gone up, but it's for a Newcastle throw.
Looked offside, didn't he?
Tonali's got the ball at his feet. Trippier back to Cher and on to Trippier again. back into Newcastle's half to share once more. What will Tim Robinson put on the numbers board? We're about to find out. Joelinton, oh, he's got inside away from Tarkowski. Joelinton in the area. It's a goal kick. Keane got across, played it against Joelinton. Looked like he might have pulled out of the challenge.
Yeah, he got lucky, didn't he? He got really lucky.
6 minutes minimum additional time on BBC Radio Newcastle. Everton 0, Newcastle United 0. Lots of non-league football coming up at half-time, including reaction to Gateshead 1, Wealdstone 0. That's Gateshead third in the National League without a manager, but going strong. All the other non-league scores. And a look at the rest of the day's sporting action. Coming up on BBC Radio Newcastle, Jacob Murphy.
Oh, how lucky.
Gets away with one in Newcastle's half. Harvey Barnes, Hall going on the outside. They're into the middle of Everton's half of the pitch. Barnes comes in field to play it to Trippier. Does. Barnes carries on his run over to the right corner. So a lot of running from Harvey Barnes, and he's lost out to Iliman Ndiaye, and then Trippier's won it back. Tonali in the area. Anthony Gordon. Still Newcastle on the attack, but Michael Keane thumps it clear towards halfway, out for a throw. Fabian Schär in the second minute of additional time, inside to Vernon. Bruno got away from McNeil, but then ran into trouble. Oh, Gordon's got it back though, and Gordon gets away from Doucouré, finds Bruno. Gordon hit the floor, got straight back up. Tonali on the right to Bruno, and having a bit more of it, Newcastle. They need to create something clear-cut, create a chance. They've obviously had the penalty saved, but not too many big goal-scoring opportunities. Murphy with a couple of shots, one that led to the penalty, and Bruno deflected along the line. That's about it. Pope, a slightly overhit ball to Byrne, onto Hall, up the line to Joelinton on halfway. Good feed by Joelinton away from Garner, and powerful run by Joelinton towards the penalty area, still going. Stopped by Mangala. Basically threw himself in front of Joelinton, almost jumped on top of the ball to stop him. And Everton get it away. Byrne back to Pope. 0-0. This is Kieran Trippier in possession on the far side for Newcastle. Fabian Schär went for the diagonal ball in behind the defenders. Joelinton made the forward run from midfield, but straight through to Pickford. Half-time at Kingston Park. Newcastle Falcons 3, Leicester 20. Commentaries available through the BBC Sport app from BBC Radio Newcastle. Bruno for Newcastle. Everton with a pretty aimless ball forwards. Then Gordon's given it away to McNeil. Joelinton avoiding sensibly a silly foul. McNeil finds Harrison. Tonali at his back. And they play it to Garner. And now into the centre-back, Keane, who is near to the centre circle. Long ball. Lewis Hall keeping his eye on it. Harrison gets there, then Hall wins it for Barnes. Joelinton, left side of central midfield. Tonali in the centre, space for Trippier. Tonali, it's an under-hit pass, and Ndiaye has it. Goes around Trippier. Good skill from Ndiaye. Trippier then gets back to make amends, and Tonali likewise. Tonali in front of the away section wins a throw. Good battle.
Yeah, the boy's got to pass the ball. It's a bag of tricks, but doesn't pass it. Just keeps giving it away when it gets got in possession.
It's 0-0 at Goodison Park with just under 2 minutes of the minimum 6 to play in this first half. Trippier into his own penalty box through a little gap to Byrne, on towards Hall, closed down by Harrison. Lewis Hall lets it run, plays it forwards to Barnes, who holds off Garner, and comes inside, then turns on the outside, back to Byrne, gives it to Pope. Everton fans applaud the pressure from their players. Share to Trippier, comes inside to Tonali, laid off to Share, and now Bruno. They've beaten the press. Maybe one last attack in this first half for Newcastle. Gordon back to Bruno, Murphy free to the right, and Trippier coming into things. Bruno whips it over to Murphy. Trippier goes on the overlap. Murphy's cross. Gordon heads down. Joelinton onto the roof of the net.
Caught on his heels.
Gordon maybe could have tried to direct the header back across goal, but it would have needed a lot of power and direction. So it was a little header guided down to the feet of Joelinton, who, as you say, was flat-footed. Intelligent from Gordon, and Joelinton is like, just come off the outside of his boot and just gone up. Didn't really go forwards that much, but eventually landed on top of the net. 15 seconds remaining in the first half. Still goalless. McNeil finds himself on the left wing, and he's played one straight into the stomach of Trippier. That's the last bit of play in the first half. Everton had a goal ruled out. Garner's great ball in from the right. Doucouré got into the bottle. BBC sounds and NUFC TV. 0-0. No changes at half-time. Anthony Gordon to kick off. Newcastle shooting towards the right-hand side, close to where the away fans are. And Gordon back to Bruno, to Tonali, and over to Trippier. The team, Pope in goal, Trippier, Share, Byrne, Hall, Tonali, captain Bruno, Joelinton, Murphy, Barnes and Gordon. Byrne, long ball, left-footed to the right wing to Murphy, header by Ashley Young, not the best. Pickford read it though, and got there just before Murphy did in the box.
Yeah,
could have been
just enough on it to get it back there.
It could have been a problem for Everton. The Everton team, Pickford in goal, Garner, Tarkowski, Keane, Young, Mangala, Doucouré, Harrison, McNeil and Jai Calvert-Lewin. Joelinton to Barnes. Newcastle second bit of forward play in the opening minute of the second half. Joelinton in the corner, misses out Barnes with a pass that goes backwards. Hall then helps it forwards to Harvey Barnes, inside towards Joelinton but miscued, and Garner tries to turn and clear. Barnes makes a block. It's a goal kick.
Did well, Garner, didn't he? Just give it away yet again, edge of the penalty area.
Newcastle's bench: Odysseus, Ruddy, Kraft, Livramento, Almiron, Kelly, Osula, Willock, Longstaff. Everton, two goalkeepers as well: João Virginia and Begovic. Beto, O'Brien, Gay, Lindstrom, Irabunam, and then academy players Armstrong and Dixon. Byrne's header's gone backwards from the Everton goal kick. Calvert-Lewin looked for a teammate, found only Trippier. Keane, big header forwards, Share away, Keane header on straight to Njai. Trippier and Tonali battling. Referee says no foul. Tonali's come away with it up to halfway and sending Gordon wide, but he's kept it in on the near side. Anthony Gordon, no one in the box. Gordon comes in off the right flank, then goes on the outside of Young, hangs up the cross. Joelinton's header, Sandro Tonali blocked. It's come back to Joelinton, and then he's played it straight to Doucouré. And Everton through Harrison up to Calvert-Lewin, clear. Dan Byrne away, Barnes on his chest, dispossessed by Doucouré. Barnes with the foul, attempting to win it back. A chance.
Yeah, it was a chance.
And Jai infield away from Trippier. Good play. Then he's linked up with Harrison, and a back heel from Njai. Tonali is there to tidy up and charge away up the left side. His ball forwards towards Gordon is headed clear by Tarkowski, and now Garner to Harrison. Everton in the Newcastle half, far side of the field, 0-0, 48th minute. Back to Tarkowski, across into the centre to Keane and on to Mangala, the Belgian international. for the first goal since his return. He's had chances in a couple of games at Forest, had one at Wolves in particular. It was a blocked effort as Everton win a throw.
Oh, they didn't know which way to give it, did they?
High up.
Didn't have a clue.
The left wing. Mangala comes back towards the halfway line with a pass, and Tarkowski lets it run. Garner closed down by Barnes. Forwards it goes to Harrison. Lewis Hall is with him. Harrison, jinking little run and giving it straight to Barnes, then Hall to Barnes again. Newcastle not working with a lot of room on the far side, but Barnes and Hall combine, and now they get away. Lewis Hall into the final third with Barnes on the outside. Gordon in the middle. He sent Barnes wide and away from goal, and Garner's got there and brought it clear. Hall then makes a challenge, and it's an Everton throw. The ball from Hall to Barnes.
Indecision, wasn't it?
Needed to be slightly different, didn't it?
Yeah, just indecision. Not too sure what to do with it.
Well, Harvey Barnes puffing out his cheeks there. He's done a lot of running already in the opening period of the second half, and he's won it back there, and Fabian Schär brings it forwards, gets away from a couple of players, and then loses possession, chases a back pass to Pickford, and plenty of height and distance from Pickford. Trippier's let it bounce and is able to let it run out for a throw. Tonali back to Trippier and out off Njai. Kieran Trippier to take the throw. Looks for Murphy. Good touch by Murphy and a layoff to Byrne. Sweeps it out to Hall, first time with his right foot. Hall for Joelinton to try and run in behind. Now he's got power. Can he get there? Yes, he gets there before Mangala. Joelinton into the box. Tries to pull it back for Gordon. Behind off Keane. Goodness me, I mean, Mangala had a big head start on Joelinton.
He looked like he was running on water.
Joelinton outpaced him. It's incredible, but he has that power in his legs. Strong running, good touch into the box. Not really much he could do. Only Gordon awaiting the pullback. They've got the corner.
Yes, great break, good strength, good strong running. Tried to pull it back into a decent area.
Barnes in the 6-yard box. Tonali, Bruno, 6-yard line. Joelinton near the penalty spot. Trippier sends it in. Byrne and Joelinton go for it. It's gone behind. It's a goal kick.
Yeah.
Pickford seemed to get a touch, but maybe onto a Newcastle player.
Came off the head of Joelinton.
No goals at Goodison Park. 39,265 in attendance. They played into midfield, short to Mangala. He had Murphy and Gordon on top of him. He's found a teammate. Then Ashley Young's ball up the pitch is blocked by Tonali, who tries to send a cross into the box. It's hit Michael Keane and come to Mangala. Everton got lucky there. And Njai, nothing lucky about that. He's got away from Trippier. It's good skill. He's one to watch in this second half, and Bruno was watching him very...
He runs down blind alleys.
Bruno watching him very closely, makes a block tackle.
Down blind alleys.
He can get himself away from players, but there was no end product there. This is Hall. And that's...
No end product there either.
Yeah, it's a really disappointing delivery from Lewis Hall. Took a touch, he was under pressure, but with the inside of his left boot, not being able to deliver it into the middle. It's just gone over the top and away. They've got forward plenty in the first 8 minutes of the second half, but no goals yet. BBC Radio Newcastle. Pickford inside of the left boot to Young. It's a long ball forwards. Schär's header away from Calvert-Lewin. Trippier to Bruno. Murphy. It's gone to Njai. Doucouré on to McNeil. Dwight McNeil from distance, well wide of goal.
He's kidding himself. I know he scored one last week, but he's what, 35 yards out.
It didn't really get above shin height, that shot, and was always being dragged away from goal because of the direction that McNeil put into the effort. Pope, ball at his feet, having had it returned to him, on towards Murphy. Young wins the header behind Murphy, and Jai's got space. It comes up onto his chest and he's laid it off to Mangala in midfield. Longstaff, Willock and Almiron warming up for Newcastle along the touchline to the left. It's Eddie Howe. Black puffer jacket is back out by the side of the pitch. McNeil in a pocket of space, right of centre for Harrison. Calvert-Lewin in the box. Harrison's ball in is too deep. Goal kick.
It's a poor ball. It's got to be so precise. I mean, Calvert-Lewin's the only one in there. He hasn't had a kick tonight, has he?
Calvert-Lewin. He is the player that has been offside the most in the Premier League this season, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. There's been a couple more tonight as well. Barnes is fouled on the far touchline.
Well, you've got to run around to stay onside.
Would you have been happy if Newcastle had been able to sign him in the summer?
No. Not on what he's shown tonight.
Coming to the end of his Everton contract, isn't he? So maybe some further speculation about his future in the months ahead. This is Fabian Schär on the diagonal. It's a good ball. Anthony Gordon's now on the left wing with Barnes in the middle. Gordon taking on Garner. Forwards to Joe Linton. Back it comes. Gordon's left it. It's Bruno over the top. They got in each other's way. They got in each other's way.
Just scoops Gordon over the top. Put your foot through it.
Anthony Gordon, it was slightly away from him, but he wanted to take the touch and then hit it. Bruno was coming in and he left it for Bruno, who seemed to hold off initially and then left-footed has just lifted it over the top. It's a big chance, well created, and Gordon has gone out seemingly permanently to the left side with Barnes now at centre forward.
Yeah, that seems to be the case.
Orel Mangala, who's had a couple of dicey moments in the second half, is replaced by Everton. And the 35-year-old Idrissa Gana Gueye, who started the first 4 matches of the season, and Everton lost all 4 in the Premier League, then lost his place, comes on as his replacement. A like-for-like change in the 57th minute by Sean Dyche at 0-0. But that will be interesting, won't it? Gordon up against Garner on the far side, just as they were there for that move.
Yeah,
that created the chance.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a natural. He's not a natural fullback, Garner. He's a midfield player. Did okay against Barnes, but Gordon gives you something a little bit different to think about.
Eddie Howe with hands on hips, not yet ready to make a change. Gordon makes a tackle on Garner on halfway, and it goes out. Out off Garner this time. Tonali with a throw. Newcastle lost here last season, but they won 4-1 the previous year, and that was with the brilliant run from Alexander Isak up the far side, and Jacob Murphy with a tap in. They've actually won 2 of their last 4 at Everton. Prior to that run of 4, they'd won 1 of 16 here. They had a really bad record for a long time. Everton get a throw after Newcastle thought it was their ball. It's near to halfway. Ashley Young, who's in his 2nd season at Everton. Back to Michael Keane, and Pickford walks to the edge of the area. Went for another touch, actually missed the ball but was under no pressure. And it's played out to the near side, and Jai's given Trippier the slip again, and he's still going. And Referee, no need to give a free kick. Everton with an advantage in possession. Calvert-Lewin's giving it straight back to Newcastle. Murphy to Trippier. It's all a bit tight here. Cher's got it now. Bruno under pressure, needs to be quick. Just got away from Gay, and Joelinton to Gordon. Now they can get bodies forwards. Murphy free on the right, Tonali in the centre. Barnes at the edge of the area, Gordon wide left. Joelinton for Newcastle, 0-0. Over it comes to Trippier. They're in Everton territory. And up the right wing to Murphy. Tonali makes a run and gets it from Murphy and tries the cross, which is blocked. Then he stabs it into the middle. It's poked away by Keane. Trippier inside to Cher, and a bit more time and space for Newcastle. Every Everton player behind the ball. Dan Burn in the centre circle. Over to Hall. Gordon comes short to get it from Hall. Has to stretch. Now he's tried to turn, and he gets a throw, and then gives it to Joelinton, looks for the return, but it's hooked away by Tarkowski. Byrne coming onto this. Calvert-Lewin gets there first. McNeil surrounded by Newcastle white and green. All the way over to this left wing from the right-hand side. And Jai hangs up across to the back stick. It's beaten the players in the middle. Harrison's kept it alive in the corner. It comes back to Gay. Trying to describe that shot.
No,
it's just wild and over the top.
Yeah, it's absolutely awful.
Quarter of an hour gone in the second half, still no goals. How do you think Newcastle have played since the restart, John Anderson?
Had more of the ball, but it's just a problem getting forward, isn't it? It's in those forward areas.
Some nice midfield play by Bruno and Joelinton, and then Tonali went for Trippier up the line. It asked too much of him. Livramento has joined Willock and Almiron for the warm-up now. Longstaff back on the bench. Michael Keane, the Everton centre-half, back to his keeper, and the long ball forwards. Trippier has an uncontested header. Into midfield it goes. Bruno has pushed Gay, and we're going to see Miguel Almiron.
From Murphy, you would think, wouldn't you?
If you'd like to get in touch with us on BBC Radio Newcastle about this match, we will be here after the game. Dom in the studio will put some comments to John Anderson on WhatsApp. Start your message with BBC, and the number you need, save it to your phone, 08000 321 333. 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Put BBC at the start. Let us know what you think of the match, the performance, and we'll come to some comments at full time. Pickford with the free kick in midfield. It's overhit. It's a throw for Newcastle at left fullback. You can also get in touch with us on Twitter or X. It's at BBC Newcastle. Harvey Barnes is coming off, and Jacob Murphy might be going to centre forward.
No, he's going to the left. Gordon's coming back into the middle.
So Barnes replaced after 62 minutes. And Almiron introduced.
Yeah, to run it young.
Well, Almiron certainly gives you plenty of running. Came on very late against Spurs and also against Bournemouth in the league. Those were his only Premier League appearances this season. He started both cup ties. Here he is, Miguel Almiron. Lets it run across his body. First touch is to pass it wide to the right to Trippier. And safety first from Kieran Trippier for Fabian Cher. Cher over the top, nobody there for Newcastle. He's passed it to Pickford. Garner forwards, Harrison. It's misplaced by Everton. Joelinton, now Bruno. Gordon, who's dropped in, turns away and does another turn. Gordon still got it. He's held possession well. Hall up the line for Murphy. Gordon there with him. Almiron's come into the centre. Newcastle still with it in front of the away fans, far side of the pitch, back to Hall and now Byrne. No goals yet at Goodison Park, but Gordon in the first half, penalty saved after Everton had a Goal ruled out by VAR. Trippier on his chest on the touchline, inside away from Njai, and into the middle to Bruno. Holds off McNeil. Bruno still going. Through for Tonali. Plays it back to Trippier. It's a bit tight, but they've still got possession. Tonali behind Almiron. Gay away. Byrne wins the header over Calvert-Lewin. Trippier gets back, keeps it in. Everton fans getting a little bit restless. Newcastle getting the second balls there. They've got to find a way to penetrate. The one time they did get in behind, Bruno with a shot over the top. Joelinton's produced a pass for Murphy, who has overrun it and then got it back after an Everton mistake and then headed it to McNeil. Now Tonali intercepts, and honestly, Trippier to Bruno. It's so scrappy.
Everton are shocking.
Anthony Gordon wide to Joelinton. Gordon gets into the box. Joelinton towards the corner. Doesn't take on Garner. Goes back to Hall. Trippier in the centre. Bruno goes wide to the feet of Joelinton. Back to Bruno. Trippier could get it this time. Slowed it right down, Newcastle. Another Everton change is coming. Midfielder Tim Irabunam. He signed 21-year-old from Aston Villa just ahead of the PSR deadline at the end of June. He's coming on. Gordon, nice turn, finds Kieran Trippier, could hit it through for Almiron. It's on his right, he's cut it back and it's off Pickford and behind. It hit Pickford on the knee, might have taken a nick off the defender.
Hit Keane as well.
Yeah, Almiron went with it, the cross with his right, and it could have ended up in the net.
Yeah, very easily. He's just swung a right foot at it, came off Keane, and then it hit Pickford on the knee. It's gone behind, corner kick.
Corner on the near side. Lewis Hall, left-footed. 66th minute. Hall delivers flat to the near post. Tonali, almost a goal. It was blocked. Now it comes to Gordon, tackled on the edge of the area. Tonali flicked it at goal. Don't know if it was defender or keeper, but it was repelled and it was away.
This lot can't pass water.
Newcastle have it at the back. Trippier to Nick Pope, closed down by McNeil. And out to Hall, who's now at right back. Gives it to the goalkeeper again. Now Dan Byrne. Want to see that chance once more, because Hall with a flat corner to the near post. Tonali met it first time. And I think Pickford might have just beaten it away with two hands in front of his face. Well, they've had some opportunities in the second half. Bruno, Almiron there with that deflected cross, and then Tonali from the corner. Tonali's given it away. This could be a problem. McNeil, Calvert-Lewin in the area, saved by Pope, and then Calvert-Lewin goes down. The rebound is put over. Craig Pawson says no penalty. VAR will have a look as Everton players surround the referee, but Nick Pope with a big save, one-handed low down initially, and Everton couldn't do anything with the rebound. What will VAR make of the challenge on Calvert-Lewin as he tried to get there for the follow-up attempt? Did Dan Byrne foul him? It came to Gay, who just blasted it over. Everton are hoping that VAR will give them a penalty. It all came about after Tonali gave it away in midfield. The referee, Craig Pawson, still surrounded by players from both teams. He's gone to talk to Calvert-Lewin. Sean Dyche is throwing his arms around on the touchline. And I think we're just going to play on. Get ready for a big groan, because the fans behind us are looking at a monitor.
Substitution for Everton, coming off number 11.
Wow.
Jack Harrison.
Byrne. Oh no, I mean, trying to look at different angles and think about what VAR might say, because I thought when I saw the angle from the near side that it was a foul. When you see the other one, they might say that Calvert-Lewin, as he's put his leg back, has collided with Byrne.
If that was at the other end, would you be happy?
No. No, I thought it was a penalty when I first saw it, but why would VAR say not? So could that be their reason?
Same reason they said it in the Palace game today.
Jacob Murphy off and Joe Willock is on. Newcastle's second change, 69th minute. It ran loose and then it was just
Tonali gave it away.
Put over the top. I mean, they let it run for Everton. If the ball had gone in the net, they would have just let play go, wouldn't they, and given the goal. Home fans livid. Newcastle playing on, still 0-0. Now Bruno caught in midfield by Doucouré, and Doucouré beats Trippier in a 50-50. Crosses it into the box, Hall with a flick. Willock out to Joelinton. Joelinton on the charge for Willock, gets away from Garner. Could have gone down, got back up. Garner recovers, and there's a battle for the ball on the far side. And Irabunam, the midfielder Everton have just brought on, has helped bring it away. They've taken off Jack Harrison, the winger, and they've put McNeil on the right side. They've got Irabunam and Gay in the middle, McNeil right and Jai left, Doucouré playing off Calvert-Lewin. And Jai getting the home fans excited with some nice skills, and now Gay inside Newcastle's half forward to Doucouré. McNeil just outside the box and then wide of goal.
Trippier struggling as well, he's gone down.
Livramento is about to come on. And Kieran Trippier, there were a couple of times in the second half where the ball was played into space and he didn't seem to have the power to sprint onto it. It looks like his right hamstring. Everton fans looking at a replay of the challenge from Byrne on Calvert-Lewin and getting really angry. We're going to see Sean Longstaff in a minute as well, presumably for Sandro Tonali. But Livramento on for Trippier. And then the next change, Sean Longstaff for the final 20 minutes. When the fourth official, Tim Robinson, displays the numbers board, Sandro Tonali.
Number 36, Sean Longstaff.
Listen to BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Send us a message about the game, about the penalty incidents, the one Newcastle had saved after VAR awarded or recommended the referee award a penalty, the one Everton didn't get there. On WhatsApp, BBC at the start of your message, 08000 321 333. We'll put some comments to Ando at full time. Gordon backing into Keane. Defender wins the ball. Longstaff and Joelinton challenge for it. Bruno's got there. Hall back to Byrne. On to Bruno. First time to share behind the centre circle. Livramento could receive it, lets it run instead actually to Almiron, and inside to Longstaff, forward to Livramento. First involvement is a cut back into the box. Gordon and Almiron, and then Almiron with a shot, is hit the side netting, and the away fans thought that was in. Almiron side netting, but it must have been saved by Pickford, or did it take a nick off a defender? It was a heavy touch in the box as Gordon closed down and Almiron hit it. It was mightily close, but it's a corner kick for Newcastle.
Yeah, Everton got themselves in a pickle. Did it come off a blue short? Deflected it behind.
Lewis Hall's corner into the 6-yard box and away. Joe Willock chases after it. Back to Livramento, furthest outfield player back. Drags the ball across into the centre circle. Turns and gives it to Nick Pope. McNeil chasing. Working hard for his team. Pope straight onto the head of Gay. They want handball against Willock, Everton, but they get nothing. Newcastle still in possession. Share away. Nobody there, but Almiron chases. And the ball must have gone out. There's a section of the pitch we can't see because they've put a TV screen in on a stand that's been extended. And every time it goes, like left back where Everton are, our views obscured. A bit like it is now with these beams holding up the stand at the other end. Longstaff miscontrols, then wins a tackle. Good, gets it on to Longstaff, laid off to Willock. Quick play by Newcastle, 0-0, but they're going forwards through Joelinton. Hall on the outside, into the final third they go, and Hall back to Joelinton. Now the cross, but cleared by the first defender. And Everton into midfield. Bruno with a block on Doucouré. Well, there's no lack of desire from Newcastle, or effort. Everton not convincing with their football, though, are they, Ando?
They're awful. They can't pass water. It's there if you want it.
We are into the final 15 minutes. They will have to win it late, but they can go and win it late, Newcastle. Bruno. Willock peels away, left side, up the line to Joelinton. Couple of step overs, on the outside he goes. Well, that's a good tackle by Garner.
Tell you what, he's played well today, him.
For a fullback.
For a midfielder who's gone in there.
Who's not a fullback.
No.
Hall up, Pope onto Livramento, into Longstaff, takes it back, Livramento again to Pope. Under pressure Newcastle, but they get it to Dan.
Calvert-Lewin's done no closing down whatsoever.
And you've got Gordon at the other end doing constant sprints, doing shuttle runs. Gordon will be unbelievable at the bleep test, won't he? The way that he sprints. Doesn't bring back good memories for you,
No, it does not.
BBC Radio Newcastle. Longstaff to Bruno in Newcastle's half, left of centre. Gordon trying to go through the middle. Bruno wants to play it and does. Gordon can't help it onto Almiron. The ball from Bruno just didn't have enough behind it to allow Gordon to get in the clear. He's tried to drag some power into it and play it through for Almiron's run to his right. Couldn't do so. McNeil has lost it to Bruno.
Dear, oh dear, hey, honestly.
They're recovering the ball.
You can beat this lot.
Newcastle, every time. Longstaff sidesteps his man Irabuna, and Willock. Joelinton inside, Hall outside. Joe Willock, edge of the area. Back to Bruno, closed down. And they're going to have to come away to this near right side with Miguel Almiron. Livramento on the overlap, gets it from Almiron, and the cross is behind off Young.
These are here for the taking. They're awful.
14 to play. And Hall comes back over to this side to take an in-swinging corner. Corner kicks have caused some issues going back to Bruno's shot when they left him free in the first half, and he's the free man again. Behind Dan Burn, hands on hips, 10 yards out. Hall delivers, headed away at the near post by Calvert-Lewin. And now Gay has got away from Willock. And Willock makes a block on the recovery on the near side. As well as being able to put some messages to John Anderson on WhatsApp. 08000 321 333, BBC at the start. Total Sport back on Monday on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds. Search for Total Sport North East, 6 o'clock, or listen anytime on BBC Sounds. All the latest from Newcastle and Sunderland and the rest of the North East weekend sport. We'll be taking your calls as well every weeknight. Back on Monday. Tarkovsky back to Pickford. Strides forwards, Jordan Pickford. Foot on the ball. Gay whips it out far side. The Everton penalty that they thought they should have had when Calvert-Lewin and Byrne came together, the VAR reasoning was because they felt that Calvert-Lewin kicked the back of Byrne's leg. That's why they didn't give it. Njai takes it under control, comes inside from Livramento and Miguel Almiron. Good tackle, and Almiron nearly lost it, but he's found Longstaff, and Bruno having a look up to Gordon, who's dropped in. Back it goes to Longstaff. Bruno in the centre. 5-yard pass along the floor to Hall, who carries it up to the halfway line for Newcastle United. Looking to break the deadlock at Goodison Park, looking for a winning goal. They've been close a couple of times in the second half. Oh, they'd love to win it. Livramento runs away from a few blue shirts, still going Livramento. He's done really well under pressure. Joelinton wants to be played in by Willock. Can he get there before Garner? No. Corner though. Or is he offside? It's offside.
How well has he done again, Garner?
Well, look, wasn't sure about the offside, but looks onside there, but didn't matter anyway, although they would have had a corner. I mean, they don't want to lose after what happened to them at Fulham, but you don't want this to peter out either into a 0-0 when, as you've said,
well,
John Anderson, it is there to be won.
Yeah, look, it's been poor. I mean, they're off. It's there for the winning, no doubt about that.
Pickford with the free kick, long ball. Livramento watching it. Pope comes to the edge of the area, rolls it out into space for Livramento, drags it forwards with his left. Now getting up the right-hand side, ball in behind for Almiron, who's onside, turns in away from Young, plays it to Longstaff. Oh, it's blocked. Longstaff went to slip it into Livramento, and it was blocked by Keane. Then Almiron with a tackle on Gay, who then wins a throw off Gordon. Everton ball. Another nearly moment from Newcastle. We're into the final 10 minutes. Young to Gay, drops his shoulder, and that fooled his man. Then he had a bit more space to just play a short pass back to Keane, close to the edge of the penalty area. Tarkovsky comes into midfield. A swinging ball forwards from Garner. Dan Burn out there. Hall back into the centre. Newcastle regain possession again. Fabian Schär comes forwards. Bruno drops in to get it. Almiron in the centre. Back to Bruno. He could have turned. And there was loads of space behind him. Now it's Hall. Willock's gone beyond, but he's gone offside. So Joelinton comes infield. Bruno uses the ball well by giving it to Hall under pressure. Now it's Dan Burn. Has a look right, then left, and a short ball to Hall. There's no movement up ahead. The space is Livramento on the near side, but Ashley Young's seen him, comes out towards him as Fabian Schär receives. Livramento drops in short. Gordon available inside. Square to Longstaff. Almiron could have had it. Longstaff's delayed the pass, then gives it to Almiron, who opens up his body, threads it through. Anthony Gordon is in. Here's Anthony Gordon over the top, and the flag stays down. Gordon was onside from Almiron's through ball. He took a touch, lashed it at goal, but it's too high. It was a great chance to go in front with 8 minutes remaining.
Great chance. Good ball, Almiron. Good spot. Got it out of his feet nice and early. Just scooped at it, didn't he? High over the top.
Well, the power beat Pickford, but the angle of the shot took it over the frame of the goal. Newcastle will hope that is not their final chance. There's plenty of time. 83rd minute. Burn with a challenge. Joelinton trying to get it from Njai, who's beaten two Newcastle players. Burn with a block. It's come to Njai again. Now McNeil at the back of the area. Oh, he's miscued it. Almiron just needs to get rid. Almiron on the line. He just wants it on his left. And he's passed it to Bruno under pressure. It's turned into a good ball to Joelinton, who's flicked it back to Willock, who's been fouled. Oh my goodness. Well, it might have been a handball against McNeil, actually. It's not good for your nerves, that sort of stuff. Still 0-0. Fabian Schär on the diagonal for Anthony Gordon, in between defenders. It's beaten him. Garner's there, wants to let it run, has to take a touch and plays it up the line off a Newcastle player, and Jai pulled back by Hall. It's going to get booked. Lewis Hall. Here's the yellow card. He's tricky, slips past
just
people.
got too tight, didn't he?
Free kick out on the touchline, 10 yards back from halfway. Calvert-Lewin beaten by Schär in the air. Bruno on. Longstaff challenges with Gay. The Everton midfielder wins the ball. Longstaff's the taller of the pair, but Everton have it through McNeil into Calvert-Lewin across the penalty area, but away by Dan Burn. Young pulls it down and back to Pickford from inside Newcastle's half. Almiron goes to engage, and Pickford not quite what he was intending with the kick. Neil's got it in midfield, protects the ball up to Calvert-Lewin, tackled by Schär.
He's been absolutely abysmal all night.
Bruno Guimaraes onto Miguel Almiron. Good ball by Almiron for Joe Linton, in between the lines, wide left to Willock, just outside the box. Joe Willock a step over. Willock looks for Gordon, can't win a corner. It's going to be a throw out off Garner.
How he's left Calvert-Lewin on all night, I do not know.
Hall back to Longstaff, 85th minute, 0-0. Bruno, foot on the ball, looks back to that left side. Willock's made a run, great ball by Bruno to find him. Willock towards Gordon, pushed out by Pickford. And now offside. So it must be offside against Willock. Well, there's a few home fans who rise to their feet and have just had enough. Well, Willock's well onside. So was it Gordon? No, Willock was about 2 yards onside. Been a couple from the assistant on this near side that you would dispute, and that one was just factually incorrect. Had it gone in, it would have counted, but it didn't. And the clock ticks towards 86 minutes, still without a goal at Goodison Park, Newcastle and Everton. Young forward, Schär header, Livramento on his chest to Longstaff, back to Livramento. Oh, and he's given Young the slip. Livramento inside Bruno. They've got numbers forward, Newcastle. On to Joe Linton, make it count. Almiron played in. Miguel Almiron. Oh, it's stabbed towards goal and away by a defender.
Needed to hit it with his right foot. Just put your right foot through it.
Don't even think it would have been on target from Almiron from his left. Well, Everton have been wasteful with possession. Newcastle have been wasteful when they've got in good positions in attack. Now Calvert-Lewin beaten to the ball by Schär.
He has been awful.
Somehow it's still 0-0. Oh, they've got to go and win this. Bruno to Joe Linton. Back it comes. I mean, it's on. It's so there for them. If they can go and do it and just take one of the chances. Bruno, 30 yards out, touched off to Longstaff. Livramento peeling out to the wide position, gets it, comes back to Schär. Fabian Schär takes a touch. There's not much on. Longstaff for Almiron. Back to Schär under pressure, inside to Burn. Everton closing down a bit better there. Lewis Hall. Turns and gives it to Burn next to the centre circle. BBC Radio Newcastle. 2.5 minutes of the 90 to go. They've got possession, Newcastle, but they're not going forwards with it. Everton keeping their shape. Hall now with the ball for Joe Linton to chase with Tarkowski. Joe Linton's giving him a shove, and the whistle's gone. And you could see all day long what was coming there, and then what was going to follow when he barged into him.
He just does it all the time, doesn't he?
You know, if Tarkowski gets there, Everton, you know, they might get it back to Pickford, but they might put it out for a throw, or they might struggle to get out, and you can squeeze them.
just barges him straight in the back.
He has at least avoided a yellow card, Joelinton. Remember, one more means an automatic suspension. He'll miss a game in the Premier League. 90 seconds of the 90 minutes remaining. Gordon penalty saved in the first half after Everton had one ruled out by VAR for offside. And Jai, who's been lively in the wide position, running at Burn, wins a throw, level with Newcastle's box. Willock battling for the ball. Garner's got it. And Gordon down to Bruno. Almiron takes it away over to the left. Hall stretching, receives it. Joelinton, lovely take on the turn. Longstaff and Livramento free. Fabian Schär with him for support. Livramento's going to drive forward himself. Longstaff making the run. Joelinton just outside the box, goes for the shot, well wide. Goal kick. 40 seconds before we get the numbers board. I think both clubs, both sets of fans will be frustrated by this. I'm frustrated watching this.
It's been awful, hasn't it?
And the opportunities they've had to win the game.
Yeah, but many real opportunities have they had.
But they've had moments. I mean, there's Joelinton outside the box. I mean, it's so far wide. The Bruno and Gordon moment when Bruno put it over, Almiron in a couple of times. They've been in positions that they could have made count, even if you wouldn't call them tap-ins or clear-cut opportunities. There's going to be a minimum added to the match at 0-0 of 4 minutes. Someone do a Florian Lejeune and get Newcastle a big late goal at Everton, but one that could win the match tonight. I think his second one was later than 94, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Who could forget that? Gordon still sprinting, still chasing. Keane back to Pickford, on to Tarkowski. Newcastle push up. Tarkowski goes for the long one. Livramento with McNeil behind him. Great touch by McNeil off the outside of the boot. And now Doucouré close to the edge of the area. Gay straight to Almiron. Newcastle have it. Almiron, good challenge, but Livramento across to Willock and on to Schär, who finds himself in the middle of midfield, wide to Willock on halfway. We've played the first minute of added on time. Bruno gets it on the halfway line. Livramento in space again on the right. It's come to Longstaff. He's dropped his shoulder and cut inside. Now Gordon, tackled by Gay, no foul. Everton don't have the numbers in the attack, and Joelinton's won it from McNeil. Gordon to Almiron, centre of Everton half. Only Willock ahead of him, wide left. It's with Bruno. Longstaff making a run. Livramento again with space, gets it from Bruno. Young in front of him, inside to Bruno. He's trying to make something happen here in added on time. He's come wide again, Bruno. Now Livramento, spaced across, and does. Joelinton can't get there. Took a nick off the defender, and that took it away from him. Willock left corner of the area, back to Hall. Hall blocked, and Njai onto it. And overhit, Dan Burn across. Dan Burn's got there, helps it forwards. Tarkowski comes over, and Everton have possession again. Garner away, and Calvert-Lewin against Bruno. And Calvert-Lewin's come away with it, surely not. Taken down by Schär with 2 minutes to play. Schär's going to get booked. Everton have a free kick 30 yards out in the centre.
The decision making's been...
Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall getting the players back into the right position defensively. Well, now it's a case of do not lose this. It's, 30 yards, maybe a couple more. Everton just kept giving the ball away.
Oh,
and as they've done all night, especially in the second half.
Yeah.
Schär's second booking of the season. And The second Newcastle player yellow carded tonight after Lewis Hall. A minute to play. BBC Radio Newcastle, BBC Sounds. 08000 321 333 for WhatsApp messages. Put BBC at the start, and we'll put some to Ando after the game. We'll be with you till 8 tonight. Referees put the spray down actually on the edge of the D, so it's a later said a little more than 30 yards, but very central. Garner, who was at fullback, looks like it's
a long way out.
Going to come and thump this. McNeil is there as well. The referee's just moved it. Everton players not happy because they feel they had it in the right position. And there's been a long wait for the free kick. We've almost played the 4 minutes now when the whistle went at 92 and 9 seconds, I think. Newcastle wall is creeping forwards. Everton fans don't like it. Pope, a yard off his line, centre of the goal. McNeil fancies it, and it might well be Dwight McNeil. But no, it's going to be Garner who's missed the target, and that's a goal kick. And thank goodness.
That was awful.
That's what Everton went with.
That's been in keeping with the game.
Newcastle get the ball back in play. Well, there could still be another minute or two to play, given the length of time it took to get on with the free kick. It's 0-0. A chance maybe to win it very, very late. Their last league visit to Goodison Park. Byrne to Hall. They haven't got in the Everton half, though. Back to Byrne. Livramento wants it switched. Byrne goes for that ball. Out to Livramento, but it's too high. Referee looks at his watch, and I thought he was going to blow.
I wish he would take us all out of our misery.
94 minutes, 50 seconds. Craig Pawson, thank you for blowing the final whistle. Everton 0, Newcastle United 0.